Welcome to day 4 of Holy Week and our fourth word of grace, a word of atonement. Details about the Day of Atonement are found in Leviticus chapter 16. It's the story of 2 goats chosen by the priest to be sacrificed for the people. The first goat is killed and its blood offered in the most inner part of the temple. Its life sacrificed for the sins of the people. Since that sacrifice is made inside the temple, the impact was not observable. The second goat's fate is much more visible. The priest laid hands on the goat's head and confessed over it the sins of the people. This is a symbolic transfer of the nation's sin and guilt onto this goat, known as the scapegoat. That goat was then taken out into the wilderness and left alone, never to be seen again, symbolically removing the sin from the presence of the people and abandoning it. At the cross, we visibly see Jesus taking on the role of the first goat as his life is sacrificed in atonement for our sin. Jesus died in my place. That sentence is so simple and yet so profound, it's almost impossible to fathom. My theology textbook dedicates 60 pages just to that word atonement, and I'm not sure that it covers it all. Jesus died in my place. All of Hebrews chapter 9 is spent comparing Jesus' death to the Old Testament sacrifice of atonement. But for me, the best description is Isaiah 53. Surely he took our pain and bore our suffering, yet we considered him punished by God, stricken by God, afflicted. But he was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we are healed. We all, like sheep or goats, have gone astray. Each of us has turned to our own way, but the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. What is less visible, and yet even more profound, is how Jesus also fulfilled the role of the second goat. We hear it in the cry, my God, why have you forsaken me?" As the sin-bearing goat, the scapegoat on the Day of Atonement is abandoned, left alone in the wilderness, so at the cross, the sin-bearer is alone. Every lie ever told, every object ever coveted, every vow ever broken, every violence ever perpetrated was on his shoulders. The sky darkened, and the Christ was abandoned because of my sin. I can't understand it, or fathom it, or even begin to imagine what it felt like. But there are those amazing words of grace hanging in the air like a dark cloud. My God, why have you forsaken me?" Just one more thought, if you've ever felt abandoned yourself. My God, why have you forsaken me?" is actually the first line of Psalm 22. In church circles, this is called the Crucifixion Psalm because it describes the experience of the cross so closely. It's likely that as Jesus cried out the first line of Psalm 22, he was praying the whole of the psalm. And while it begins with this profound sense of God's abandonment, it does not end there. It ends with the psalmist reconnected and declaring the blessings of God. And then these words, "Future generations will be told about the Lord. They will proclaim his righteousness, declaring to a people yet unborn, he has done it." As I hear those words, I can't help but think of the amazing words of grace that come a few moments later. It is finished. God has done it. For you and for me, atonement has been made.